Hello, this is Todd Wall from Aquatong Media, and I saw an article that I thought was worth discussing. The title is Snowflakeism Gen Z Hires Are Easily Offended and Not Ready for the Workplace, according to business leaders. And so the article starts Gen Z employees are entitled, too easily offended, lazy, and generally unprepared for the workplace, according to their bosses. I guess that's a bad thing. The dismal assessment, and that is dismal, of workers born between 1996 and 2010 comes in a poll of 966 business leaders across the country taken last month by the online education magazine Intelligent. So I think 96 to 2010 would be ages 14 to 28. So you're really just here talking about among Gen Z, just kind of the oldest cohorts among the Gen Z group, kind of the older Gen Zs. Younger Gen Zs aren't even, some of them are still in high school. So the survey found that 75% of execs felt most of the recent college grads they hired were unsuccessful, and 60% said at least some of them had to be fired. And here's a picture they're showing of Gen Zs. Presumably, they're doing some sort of podcast or creating some sort of YouTube video because they're under the impression that people are interested in hearing about their opinion, which generally is not the case. Uh, the supervisors, who ranged from C-suite execs and business owners to senior and human resource managers at companies with more than 10 employees, said they'll refrain from hiring Gen Z workers in the coming year. I wonder if that's considered age discrimination, by the way. If you're basically discriminating against an entire group based on what generation they're part of. I'm being sarcastic. With Gen Z, they've got a ton of access to information, a lot of different content, news sources, and influences, said Hugh Gwynn, Chief Education and Career Development Advisor for Intelligent and a former Fortune 500 hiring manager. So when they go to a company that has more traditional norms, you get a situation where it doesn't always mesh, he told the Post. So what he's basically saying is that these young people come in, they've had a different experience in their life, both from how they're raised from their parents. In some cases you have this helicopter parenting where the parents have always kind of been there to help the children, and the children are used to having their feelings and desires and needs catered to. And so they go into a workplace, which is, his traditionally is very different. Traditionally in the workplace, there's kind of a uniform culture that they like, and you have to adopt to it rather than adopting to you. And so these Gen Zs are struggling, I guess is kind of what they're saying. About 17% of leaders believe Gen Z, who range in age from their teens to about 28, is often too difficult to manage, and 39% said they have poor communication skills. Jessen James, an international entrepreneur, business mentor, and speaker, said some Gen Zers struggle to articulate themselves, don't look you in the eye, and don't project their voices. Well, those are bad things in the business, in the workplace, particularly if you want to be successful. If you ever want to rise into management or if you want your career to advance, clearly you got to be able to communicate, articulate your thoughts, speak with some force and conviction, and kind of sell yourself and sell your ideas. And so it sounds like a lot of these Gen Zers sort of lack those qualities. The article continues, they lack charisma and personality skills, he told the Post, adding, I don't feel they are in tune with what it takes to impress each other. And so, look, here's a picture of presumably a Gen Z girl, and I guess she's taking a nap at her desk, which probably is not a good thing generally to do. James has seen what he calls snowflakeism, some Gen Zers crumbling under even a little pressure. It's almost like you have to walk on eggshells around them, being super sensitive when managing them in case you offend them, upset them, or push them too far. Some 20-somethings have even brought a parent with them to job interviews for support. I've heard this before. I've seen other articles on Gen Zers, and so I've seen this claim before. I kind of I kind of want to call BS on it. It seems a little bit like urban legend. I don't really. What does it even mean to bring your parent to an interview? I mean, clearly they're not going to let the parent sit inside the room while you're interviewing. So they sitting in some kind of lobby area and just waiting and providing emotional support? I don't know. I sometimes feel like I want to call BS on that. The article continues. Corporate environments and office culture have relaxed in recent years and are viewed differently between generations. But even with a more laid back office environment, recent college grads don't dress professionally and don't use appropriate language for work, 19% of those surveys said. A lot of these responses matched up with general stereotypes of how people talk about Gen Z in general, Gwynn said. While some of the beliefs are subjective, others are not, he said, like being on time. About 20% of respondents said Gen Zers are often late to work, and 15% they said they had frequently handed in assignments late. That's not good. They're not punctual, so they're getting assignments. So there's a general impression that they're not coming to work on time, and when they're getting work handed to them, they're not getting it, completed on time. And it sounds like, well, the younger generation is also more likely to use up their sick days than their older colleagues. Recent studies have found, so they're also burning through their sick days. I guess in the past, you would, if you had a career in business and you wanted to advance, you would be very loath to take too many sick days. That would be held against you. I assume in this new generation, younger people, there's no such stigma, so they'll take their sick days, and presumably many of those sick days are not for traditional physical sicknesses, but more for mental health, mental distress, mental disturbance. The article continues, but many bosses are trying to tame the immature hires, even mandating office etiquette training. So they're basically, some of the bosses are having sort of introductory how to work in the office 101 kind of training for these young people. 54% of the company leaders surveyed said that they offer the training, and many mandate it for new hires, and a quarter of them specifically require it for Gen Z recruits. That sounds like that would be illegal, I would think. Nearly 80% of companies surveyed reported placing at least some of the disappointing hires on performance improvement plans, also known as PIPs. Adapting to Gen Z, bridging the gap between generations to ensure everyone's success would be a prudent way forward, Gwynn said. More and more of them will enter the workforce. They're here to stay, he said. So I thought the article was interesting. I don't know what you all think about this. I would be interested in knowing, I'd be interested in getting comments in the comment section if this aligns with people's experiences. If you've hired Gen Z or you work alongside Gen Z coworkers, sort of, is this consistent with your experience? I'd be interested in hearing from people from in Gen Z. Kind of, do you think these, do you think this is an accurate depiction, or do you think some of this is exaggerated? I feel like some of these stereotypes are a little bit exaggerated, but hard to say. Please leave a comment in the comment section below. Would love to hear everyone's feedback. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks.